All right, are we
All
live?
right. Yes,
Yep.
we
Looks like our
are.
okay.
Yep, we're live. Thanks everybody for joining. We are going to go ahead and get started here with our crypto live trading session. We're going to be doing a market review. Bits of Wealth is joining me today as well. Just wanted to throw it out there that anything that we discuss during this stream, it's not financial advice. It's purely for educational and fun purposes. So stick around with us. Thank you for joining. Bits, how are you doing today?
Good. Let me get my stuff pulled up. But no, I'm doing good. Doing good, doing good.
Amazing, amazing.
Trading view. What's that?
I'll go around and start sending invites to people in the community, send them the link to the stream. If you're here joining us, please make sure that you are liking and retweeting the stream. It's going to be a fun session today.
All right, there we go. Seems like it's up. And let me see the comments section. Okay. All right. I think we're good. Yeah. Fuds is already joining us. What's up, man? Cool. Well, let's jump into this. We're already getting some action. Um, let's start kind of with like I guess BTC for just general, um, higher level conditions, but still sideways. Not a lot has changed. BTC is still pretty much sideways in this range. Just doing this a lot of that. So um, perfect for day trading. Not so great if you're wanting big moves in either direction, but perfect for day trading. Haven't zoomed in on BTC today though. It's just doing some like BART type action. So nothing super exciting. I think like the perspective that's good to keep here on BTC is and I think we talked about this on the last few streams that we did, right? But larger range is here, right? So call it 85k to 95k. And then you do have this pivot area here and kind of in the middle of this at about 90k, right? And for a long time we are bumping off that 90k and bouncing off of 85, and that was the ceiling. Got above it. Now it seems like now we're doing the same thing, but here on the upper end of this range, which also talked about that being a possibility. So nothing too surprising. I would say if it's going to break to the upside, it makes sense to me that it would at least take these lows here, take this liquidity, and then give something like that. At least, like that's my kind of my minimum requirement here to for me to get excited about some potential upside. But very open to the fact that this could still come down, take some from down here, and then the big move comes after that. Like that's certainly still possible. Um, if this were to sweep again to the upside, I think it potentially, for me at least, would keep me interested in something like that. Again, like it just makes a lot of sense to me that it takes opposing liquidity before picking a direction. That's where those trap moves come, right? When people say like, "Oh, it's a fake out, it was a trap, it was a false move." That's what they're talking about. False move, reclaim higher, right? So if you saw something up here, false move potentially, right? And then it comes back into the range, then if this happens, you make a move up and then you come right back into this existing range again, right? You're back in here. Be careful because it could be going for the opposite side. Um, so just keeping it simple. Still just range bound going sideways. ETH, man. I mean, there's really nothing to say about Ethereum. Ethereum's been one of the most boring charts. If it comes down here, we'll talk about Ethereum, or if it comes up here, we'll talk about ETH. Otherwise, I don't think there's any point in wasting any time on Ethereum. Solana is doing a little bit more interesting stuff. So let's maybe talk about Sol briefly. So Sol came up, and what you're seeing here is over the last 24 hours or so, you basically had a sweep of the prior week high. So this was the high from last Tuesday. So Solana put in a move to the upside to basically take liquidity above last week's high. That has now been taken. Above here, though, is this prior month high. So that to me is still like an attractive level up there that it could come up. This could still do something like that. Take the prior month high, and then you're looking at a move down here potentially, right? If it's going to go down there. Um, Otherwise, it's like there is going to be some liquidity that's starting to build down here, right? So this basically the fact that you're getting this kind of consolidation range here, you're building liquidity below, just like you had liquidity above. Liquidity above has been taken. The liquidity below can be taken next. Like this could come down, do something like that, then go up for the prior month high, and then come down, and then take this. Like all of this is possible. We just got to play it one level at a time. But for now, I did find that was interesting. I did take a small short position here on Solana because of that, right? Because you did take that prior week high here, right? So I was able to position. Now I'm just looking for follow through. If this gets follow through below here, you can probably size that up, right? So I'll be looking at adding a little bit more to that position if this starts getting like a close, like and getting some speed and a close below that. Maybe if it does it on a 1 hour or 2 hour, I'm certainly going to play. But if you get a 4 hour close below here, that could get interesting. So, just watching that for now. So far looks good though. Volume, everything's looking okay. But yeah, if we get a 4 hour close below here, then I'll probably be looking to add size, because then more than likely you're coming down for this. And I'll want to make sure I'm sized appropriately for that and leaving a runner piece on in case it wants to come lower. If it doesn't come below there, like let's say this kind of stalls here and it starts hesitating, well, in that case, what I would be looking for is the potential that it still wants to come up here and take the overhead from previous month, which would be fine. I mean, that's going to be the better short entry anyways if it comes up and takes all of that before going lower. So let's see what happens there on Sol. But Sol, I think, is one of the more interesting charts to watch this week is Solana, just because it's got these key levels right above. SWI is one I'm continuing to watch here. It is, we've talked about this, but it is holding above the high of the previous range over here, right? So it is above December highs as well. So this was high of December. It is above all of that. And I think as long as it stays up there, at some point it'll probably sweep that, but then that could open the door to some continuation to the upside. So I'd be watching, anytime they're building like these really clean supports, right? What's happening here? Anytime you're doing that, what's happening? Well, retail is saying like, oh man, like we're building such a beautiful support. I'm going to put my stop loss under here because this is proving out to be such a strong support level here. Like, oh, that is so clean. Let's put our stop loss right here for the next move up, because it can't go below that. Look, it's not able to go below that. Obviously, we're going higher. Well, they're right on the direction, but what they fail to recognize is that when you're building such a beautiful floor like this, what you're doing is you're engineering some liquidity for the taking, and then it's going to give you the move. So I think it's going to take that, and if it does, I am happy to play. As soon as this thing makes a move like that to the downside, takes that liquidity, reclaims this low here, man, I'm gonna add some here on a move like that, and then we're gonna trade that up to the next level up. So that looks pretty good to me. Just kind of waiting that out. And Zcash gave a similar setup, so I do have some Zcash long exposure right now. Same thing, came below previous low, right? Took some of that liquidity, had some volume confirmation on lower time frames, got a nice little pump after that. This to me is looking pretty good. I mean, I'm only eyeing a move somewhere in here. Really, if it comes up here, great. But I think that for Zcash, I really just want a move that dips up in here, fill some of this imbalance, and then that's probably where I'll take most of my profits, and then we'll see what happens after that. But if it wants to keep going, it can keep going. But this is looking pretty good. And if you would have inverted the chart, you would have seen why this was a beautiful short, right? Like you had this level here, and you basically came up, swept it, so this was your initial sweep, gave a nice little retest that confirmed, and then you got confirmation here with volume, in that direction. So now we're just watching that play out, right? Wherever that goes, that could come all the way down here, could come all the way back over here, over 540. So again, it's an inverted chart, right? But this one looks really clean on the inversion. I like the setup on the inverted chart, so it kind of helps me set it up. Whereas like right here, it looks a little dirty. Right here, I think the fact that we know that it's up so much already kind of gets in the way. But on the inverted chart, it just makes it look so much cleaner. So we'll see if Zcash does that move, all while this entire move down here basically was fueled. Oh, didn't mean to do that. This entire move down here was basically fueled off the Zcash FUD of like the founders abandoning it or whatever that was, right? And all it did was just drive it into a key level, and I was able to position long while everyone was probably max shorting down here. And then XMR was the only other one I'm watching here, looking for a position in XMR, because this one's been pumping, right? And this is probably off of the narrative of like privacy rotation, right? So we'll probably be looking at this one quite a bit. But off of this like Zcash dumping, XMR's been pumping. And I think what a lot of people maybe aren't paying attention to, though, is that XMR's pumping, and it really just went to 2021's all-time high. You're a little bit above that. Not significantly above it, but you are a little bit above it. And the risk here, and we talked about this one on the Wolf Space last night with Ostium. The risk here is that this thing is getting ready for a reversal up here, that it just basically was a move to, a swing failure above 2021's high. And then this is about to, at some point, even if it has one more push up or whatever, it's about to slam back down in an epic way. And if that were to happen, how deep is this correction going to go? I'd say you're at least looking here, right? But you're potentially looking down here. So will be wild. Will be wild to see that play out, if it plays out that way. But one level at a time, but that's basically what I'm watching this week, Lady Trader.
This is great, Bits. You were also in a Zcash short, right? Like that was,
Yes.
I remember from how did that play out? Did you get out of that?
Yeah, I got out before the FUD dump, but basically my Zcash short, which I should have left the piece on, but I didn't, just because the market was, and this is the problem sometimes, is the market goes sideways. So I'm like, this money's better put to use somewhere else, right? But yeah, I had a Zcash short from up here. So basically I was able to short up here above, can't remember the exact entry, but I think it was like 538 or something like that. Wasn't the Pico top, but it was up here at the top. And I ended up getting out of that one after this move down here, and then we were consolidating. I closed it somewhere in here. So it was still a profitable trade, but I missed this piece of it, which was the biggest part of it, unfortunately. So now, because of that, I was like, all right, we're going to make up for that by grabbing a long off of the low. I also shared this one on my page, the Zcash long, and some of the people in the group, took that trade. But yeah, look, I mean, let's get Zcash at least back up here and potentially back up there, and we'll try that short again. We'll try that short one more time, and we'll hold on to it this time. But yeah, Zcash has been a fun one. Really, a lot of these have been fun just because they're ranging. They're going up, they're going down. They're given so much opportunity to just take some beautiful trades. So yeah, it's been a great market.
Absolutely. No, this is really phenomenal. I'm gonna go ahead and share my chart as well. It's gonna have a very similar outlook as well. Finally got my indicator updated as well, so it has all of the information that I need.
Yep.
Yeah, they had the newest version. So okay, let's see here. Okay, here we go. So for me, I mean, I'm just watching the levels. Currently, I'm not in any of the major trades right now because it is in a range. We have a level coming up here. This is going to be the high of the week as well as high of the previous month, right? So this is going to be now acting as a little bit of a resistance, but I don't know how long this is going to last, because to me, it's kind of giving me that vibe of a potential breakout to the upside right here. Now, is it going to take the liquidity to the downside first and then maybe move up? That's, that's definitely a possibility. A few levels that I'm watching that I've kind of kept calling out really because it's in a range right now, right? So there's really no trade for me to take. There will be setups intraday where you could go long or you could go short with certain patterns, especially if you've been kind of learning the market maker method with us, that you'll have plenty of trades throughout the day, right? Buying the lows, selling the highs, or selling the highs, and then buying the lows, or getting out at the lows, right? If you're selling at the top. But what I'm really looking for, that I'm interested in, is either the level up here, which is what I've been kind of calling out, 200 EMA. This is a major level, so I'm now watching this level here for a potential short opportunity, which I think could even go as far as 102, or looking for a long opportunity at this level here, which was the monthly open, which on lower time frame did not get retested. This is another thing too. When you're stuck in a consolidation and you can see that the price has not retested a certain level that was major, then it's definitely coming back down to retest it. And you could kind of find that on a smaller time frame. And that is something that kind of sticks with me because I've seen it so many times where it's a major level, price crashes through it or goes above it, but then there's no retest. And whenever that's the case, price is definitely going back down or coming back up to retest those areas. And so this is an area that's still kind of pending, some retest of. And so if the price comes back down and gives me a beautiful double bottom, right, and takes the liquidity even for this level here, and then maybe gets above it and then retest of this, is when I'll be looking for a long opportunity. The other one is this area, which is your low of the previous month, which is now going to be acting as a major support as well, even if it's a temporarily intraday setup. Because a lot of times, like when we come back down here, it's going to start to get ugly. Like it's not going to be a very good time. And so whatever trade I do take will only be like an intraday long. If I'm taking any long opportunities, it's going to be intraday because I don't think there's much of an upside potential here. We are probably going to go, if we are lucky, we can get up to about 102, 104. That's it. Like this, that's going to be it. If we get anything above that, I mean, very highly unlikely. If it does happen, that's great. It's a bonus for those of us, especially if you're in positioned in small caps or, also playing memes, because memes do run really well. Lots of narratives that come out during the green markets, right? So definitely there's going to be some potential there to find some really awesome memes. I mean, if you are in the Telegram community, you already know that we were able to catch a few really awesome plays that were actually shared by other community members. And, there were multiple big runners. There was 100x, I believe. There was a couple of others that, did 20, 30x or more. So there are lots of opportunities when the markets are green to actually catch some of those moves. And so that's what I am mostly interested in. Now, if we come back down, like I said, long trade here, long trade here, long trade here as well. But it's going to be intraday because I know that after a little bit of the upside, these levels at the bottom are coming. And these are the two levels that I'm watching. There's liquidity sitting below this level, right? And the more time we stand up there, the less likely it is that this level is going to hold, at least long term. It's going to get weaker and weaker. It's going to get likely just have like an intraday long, and then we just roll down. And then, of course, this is a much better level to go for, and then look for opportunities here, for a short-term bounce. So these are both short-term bounce levels that I have up here. And then let's see if I can go to the weekly chart to kind of show you why I was watching these levels as well. There are some EMAs that I'm watching, right? This has moved up a little bit, so of course this one would move up as well. But there are some major EMAs that I'm watching. And then of course I have a major level here that is going to be the bottom prediction, right? I've been very much open about this one, that we are going under 50K. I would love to see the price coming back down. When I said under 50K, I was really being a little bit more humble because it's scary when you're telling them under 50 and you're sitting up here, right? That's what it can get very scary. And let me see, bits actually left. I'm adding bits back here. There he is. Okay. And so it can get very scary when you are, sitting up here and you're talking about 50K. People are not going to be really even willing to look at it if you tell them, under 50K is much better, but we are really going under 40K. And this is where I'm looking at the bottom prediction. And really why? Because this is something, and I've covered it before, but I want to cover it briefly once again for those of you who are joining for the first time or have not seen me talk about this before. But really the reason why I say that this is going to be happening, it's purely based on what has happened previously, right? So we had a top here in 2017, right? And the price crashed pretty badly right here, right? It was about, I think, if I'm not mistaken, around 86, 87%. And then we also had a top here in 2021, and there was another one in 2023. So we're not going back that far yet, but you can take a look at it and see what happened. And then we had another one right here, which also had a pretty big retracement here, right? So this one was about 77, 78. So now I'm thinking we are probably going to be, because this is what happens every 4 years, right? When we talk about the 4-year cycle, we have the Bitcoin halving, which happens every 4 years. And I even have an indicator for that. Let me see if I can get that up there. BTC halving. I don't know which one it was.
It might still be on your chart. You might just have to turn it on. But the one I used to use was Having Events. That one by Kevin D. Carr is the one I used to use.
Halving Events.
Yep.
Oh, this one?
That first one.
Okay. Let me try that one. Yeah, that's the one. That's exactly the one. Okay. So we have Bitcoin halving. So every time you have a Bitcoin halving, the price actually makes a move up, right? We have every 4 years this happens. So when we say 4-year cycle is dead, it's not, because every 4 years you're going to have a Bitcoin halving. It's not going to change. It's a fact. And so you have a Bitcoin halving, and then you have, after every 4 years, the same time, you have a big bull run, right, the year after. And then the year after that is the bear year. So it's pretty much the same way, right? It's been happening pretty much since Bitcoin was born. And so we had a 2024 halving, we went up, and now we are basically crashing again. The same thing happened here. 2012 was the Bitcoin halving. I don't know why this Bitcoin chart is not going as far. But basically, and I may need to get another one here. This is a Binance one. But you have to just look at it this way. Bitcoin halving, bull year, bear year. Bitcoin halving, bull year, bear year. Bitcoin halving again here. We had a bull year, and some people would say, well, but 2025 was not really a bull year. We closed red. Yes, we did close red, but Bitcoin did create an all-time high. It really did what it was supposed to do. Of course, the last few months, which we did call out, that in October, the first week of October, the top will be in place, and then after that it will crash. So it did do exactly what we were anticipating that it was going to do. So it was a bull year, and now we are having a bear year, right? So now when I say that we're going to have a crash and we're going to probably end up here, is because now if you start counting, you start measuring from here. Even if I say 70%, right, which is me being very, very generous and conservative, it's going to put us here at 36. If I say 75%, where does it put us? Right around 30K, right? And then it could, again, a lot of people are saying, or some people are saying, I should say, that it could go lower because there's a lot of liquidity sitting there at certain levels that has not been taken. So they're even thinking that this liquidity level here, this will be taken. This is already gone. Like, there was liquidity here built up, and the liquidity was taken. But this liquidity here, there's still a lot of liquidity sitting. So some people are thinking they could go as low as this level. I don't know, but this area here, this whole area, is where I'll be looking for a bottom to be formed. This is it. And so we'll leave this here so we can kind of track where we are at, right? This is my bottom prediction somewhere in this box, and it's going to happen in October this year. That's what I'm looking for, right? So price should be here in October. When we come back in October of this year, we will be looking at this and we'll be going, oh, wow, look at where we are. And then looking for long opportunities for like forever hold, right? For the next 4 years. So I'll be finding an opportunity to buy here and then I will be holding it for the next 4 year to kind of play the next cycle, which is then going to end in 2029, because we are going to have a Bitcoin halving in another 4 year after this, which is 2028. And then 2029 will be your bull market. And then back to, again, 2030 will be our bear market, which is, again, we're going to have some arguments and some fun about it's going to be different this time and why is it different this time. And I'm going to be telling you, we follow the historical data until it proves us wrong, right? So we're going to get there again. But this is really the area where I'm looking for opportunities. Now, I do follow the dates religiously. So it doesn't matter where the price is at that point, right? If it's here, if it's down here, it doesn't matter. And I'll tell you, when you're patient, it does pleasantly surprise you with the amount of or with the entries that you're going to get by being patient, right? So I'm going to be very, very patient, looking for those opportunities for the long-term buy, and hopefully, we get into this area and position ourselves for the next bull run. This is what my plan is going to be, and so let's see if we can get here. But this is it, and I'm going to be just looking for the dates, right? Looking for that month of October, wherever we may be. And I'm still open to all the possibilities, right? I'm open to all the possibilities. Can we create a new all-time high? And maybe then I can, let's say if we do create a new all-time high this quarter, I'll be the first one to admit that 4 year cycle is dead. Like, I'll be the first one to say, yes, 4 year cycles are dead. Finally, we are again getting some green price action in the bear market. This is awesome. And so I'll be the first one to admit, but it's not going to happen based on what I'm seeing so far. But again, be open to all the opportunities, right? That's what we are here for. But with a very, very high probability, this is the area that I'm watching for a bottom prediction, right? So let's see how it plays out. Bits, anything you want to add to that?
No, look, and I think that both you and I would be completely open to something different happening this time around if the data shows that, right? And a lot of it is a lot of it just comes down to just like trading, where it's like you got to let the data show you, you got to wait for that confirmation. And then once you get that, it's like, okay, all right, so something different is happening, right? But you kind of go off of what you know, just like even with like when I'm kind of sharing like my Bitcoin range, it's like, all right, Bitcoin's basically, going sideways. And it's like, all right, that is what it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's see, for some reason I see a lot of comments here, but I don't see it on the screen. Let me see if I could show here. Okay.
Yeah,
So
you can
go-
highlight individual comments, but I think there's a way
Okay.
to turn on a way to have them hold on here.
There
There should be
was
a way
previously.
to
Yeah, there was previously. I don't know why they got rid of it, or maybe because it's a recurring link. But I see Ghost on crypto says, looks like BTC took some liquidity on that move up and making some type of an M. What do you think? Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the case here, right? We had on M15, if you want to take a look at it, there was definitely a setup. And so this is really, whenever you have a double top like this, like the M pattern, the first retest of this is usually going to be like it's going to be it's going to hold. So this was a good short opportunity, which I did not get into. But usually if the price comes back and retests this like an M looking pattern, usually it would basically just top out. The reason why I wouldn't short it is because it's still in a range, really. Bitcoin is still in a range, right? And it is in a breakout setup as well, which means that we could potentially go up. I mean, if it does create like a, close below 13 once again, then there is a short opportunity, but it's still in a range. And I'm not really wanting to play in the range until we get to, we either take the liquidity out to the highs and maybe hit some of these levels, or take out the liquidities to the low, at least this level, right? At least this level. And then I'll be playing it. What are your thoughts, Bix? Are you open to any intraday trade here with the current setup that we are seeing?
Yeah, no, not right now. I think it's got to go to one of the extremes. So, I mean, if it took that low of the week, that's highlighted there by Ash's wonderful indicator where it says low, right? Like if it takes that and sweeps, I might be able to look for a setup there higher, especially if it gets near that monthly open. Or it's got to take the high of the week up to the upside, right? Like high of the week, high of the previous month, all of that is to the upside. So Yeah, I think it's kind of in a no trade zone at the moment. I'm not really looking for anything in either direction. I think it needs to either needs to go higher for the short, or needs to go lower for the long. And
Hmm.
as long as like BTC is kind of sideways, like I really just think that there's better opportunity in like some of these other alts. For example, Solana's clearly setting something up. You look at like Sui, you look at even just playing Zcash, like some of these that are moving. To me, those are far more interesting. So this
Hmm.
Sol one is a great example of where you've got, you basically took out high of the previous week, but you've got high of the prior month right above that.
Hmm.
There's just, what is that, the 100? You've got the 100 EMA right above that. So
Hmm.
for me, a move higher here on Sol that just goes up, takes liquidity, and rejects could be a really beautiful short opportunity
Hmm.
on Solana. So I did take a short right now, but I'm kind of just holding it as like a starter position with a very wide stop loss, because there's a potential that it could go up, sweep one more time, and then we get the big rollover on Sol here. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, there's like a lot of M patterns or
yeah,
like M looking patterns all over. And if you guys remember, we were talking about it last week, right? What we were doing was we were here and it was doing this, like the pattern like this.
yeah,
Let me see if I can get a better read on this one. We were here, right? And we were talking about, okay, it's gonna do something like this, and then it's gonna do like an A-shaped pattern, and it did that. I even drew it on the chart. I remember last week, right? Because it was doing a lot of this, throwing this kind of pattern. And then usually what happens is that when you see something like this, there's an A pattern, and we saw this one. So if you caught the A, I mean, it was a valid trade. Like that was exactly what I was anticipating, that there's going to be an A pattern.
yeah,
And so if I was interested in trading, then I would have caught this move. I'm not interested right now because it's too much of a range for me. It's um, just in the range is just not how I trade. I like to have
right,
very good trending markets, which is why, like, even during the live sessions, we're not able to catch. Excuse me, we're not able to catch a lot of live trades right now. We've taken quite a few, but once we are in a ranging market, we are gonna get those really beautiful moves that you're gonna hold for days, and they're gonna pay out really well, because that's what we were doing when markets were ranging, right? We were catching a lot of short plays. Since we started doing our live trades, there were a lot of short setups, like 116K we shorted there. Ethereum at 4,200, we shorted there. Then we continue to find a lot of more short trades like that were valid for days. These are intraday. So I
yeah,
know that these are going to be like a pain for me to manage, because I'm going to have to get in and get out very quickly. But this was the A trade right here. This is where the entry would have been. And then, of course, on a candle like this, you remember
yeah,
I call it the raw candle, right? Usually, or a lot of times, these kind of candles it's like a false move, and then the price does bottom out here, which it did. It did take out the liquidity here, but it wouldn't have mattered, because your stop loss would be pretty wide as well. But and I would have taken out, like, as soon as I saw this candle, I'd be out. This is where my entry would have been, this is where my exit would have been, and then I'd be like, okay, whatever. And then maybe I would have taken a long here if I was trading. But this was the A trade that I was calling for during the stream, and it did happen exactly the way that I called it. It's just that I didn't take this trade. But yeah, you're on point. For Solana bits, that's pretty clear move on Solana. So we'll be interested to see how it goes. At least if it hits 150K or something like that, that would be phenomenal. Ethereum is looking interesting too. I'm not, like you said, it's still in the range as well. A little bit uglier than some of the others that we are watching. Let's see what Sui is doing. Want to see Sui XRP? Oh man, this was interesting on XRP.
mm-hmm,
XRP, I'm really interested in this level. You know, 1.5, 1.48, 1.5. I think this is going to be a pretty awesome level to watch for XRP. I'm definitely watching that one, even as a spot trade. And then, of course, this one here, 1.2. This is going to be another one. So we'll be watching those two levels on
that's
XRP.
an ugly weekly
Yeah, very
prior
ugly.
week. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like telling you pretty much it's probably going to end up here.
Yeah.
It's also the first retest of this bearish cross.
Yeah.
So there's that. Man, yeah, this is not going to be good. It's definitely not going to, $10,000 or $1,000 or anything like that. XRP is not going there. But we're going to get some good trades on this regardless of where it goes. Sui. Okay. This was interesting on Sui. Right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Weekly. Again, the weekly close, man.
I know.
I don't know. I don't know what I think of the weekly close here, but let's say daily. Really, really crazy consolidation here. So whenever you see a consolidation like this is really a no trade zone. You want to see what the price is going to do next, right? Is it going to take the liquidity to the low and then you buy, or is it going to take the liquidity to the high and then you short? So this kind of pattern, I'm not too keen on. But I'll tell you though, this kind of consolidation does create some big moves eventually. So that's how it's going to be. Let's see. Okay. Algo. I really like Algorand, but of course it's being impacted by the bear market as well. So it found support here. So if I was watching, this was definitely a move. Let's see what it looks like on M15 here. Yeah, this was a very, very clear buy right here. But then lots of EMAs, which creates a lot of trouble for you. So you'd be like, okay, this will be really the first take profit, and then anything above that would be a bonus. And then of course it retraced. So for Algorand, they have some good partnerships as well. So I'm overall like long-term bullish on this, short-term bearish, of course. Look at this one here. Price went through this, did not retest. So possibly this area, which is also your 50% of the previous week. This is going to be a really nice area to look for maybe some short-term long opportunities. And then of course this one and this one whenever the liquidity is taken. So we'll be watching for that. I think this liquidity could be taken. This liquidity here.
Quite a ways down, but yeah, it is just sitting there.
Yeah. And so let's see what happens here. This is a good level too, like right here, or even this one. This will be your bits of wealth kind of retest, right? If the price came back a bit, yeah.
Yep.
This will be your signature trade.
Sure looks that way.
Yeah. Let's see if it holds. So what we'll be looking for is maybe a retest, and then holding it, and then maybe something like this. We'll see if it plays out like that. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
But this would be a nice one. But yeah, these are really the ones that I'm watching right now. I want to go. Let me actually. Anything else bits that you want to talk about before we move on to like the small cap?
Let me go through one more time just to double check. And there we go. No, nothing on BTC. Let me check stable. All right, so we can talk about stablecoin dominance, I guess. So I'll share an update here because I know I've talked about this one almost every week. So let me zoom out on this a little bit just to give you guys some perspective. So I'm going to zoom out to a weekly on stablecoin dominance. Oh, by the way, Lady Trader, check your Telegram DM while I'm going through this. I sent you a message there.
Okay, I will do that.
So this one, guys, I'm going to show you a couple different things. Number one, this structure here in terms of like these zones, right? Like, so this resistance, this, currently support, but it's been at times resistance, and then this support down here as well. These three general like zones, horizontal zones, these have been the big ones for the entire, bull cycle this time around, right? Like this is where all major structures happen in terms of stablecoin dominance. These up here, these were the and here, let me clean it up a little bit. Actually, let me remove that. All right, I'm gonna put this channel away really quickly just to simplify it. I'm gonna hide this. So this all of these peaks on stablecoin dominance here, these have been the big major bottoms in crypto. If you go back, like these have been the last major bottoms going back basically through beginning of 2024. And then these here have been the major tops for crypto, right? Going back through again early 2024. So this is currently like trying to build some type of, potential bottom here. But the question is, this is also now above all of these prior levels, right? So if you think of it as like these were all your big bottoms below, this bottom is now below all of them. And there's the potential, because this is also the first time that we've come up here into this imbalance this entire time, right? All of these have been below that. They haven't really breached into this. This is the first time that we've breached up into this imbalance here. So definitely something is changing here. But I think what the potential is this now where this had previously here kind of been like your rejections, right? You'd basically come up, you'd reject, and it'd go down, reject. And then now are we potentially flipping this zone into support, which is why it's green. This used to be a red zone, right? But it's why it's green now, is because this is potentially trying to flip this into support. And then at some point, is that going to come up, breach above that, and then maybe even flip this overhead zone into support at some point? And the reason I say that is simple. I'm gonna pull up basically a fractal model of the last time. So this was back in 2021. This was your first top that happened in like March, April of 2021 when Bitcoin and crypto market topped. And then this was your Q4 top in 2021 when we got that second top. And then after that, all of this basically was bear market, going into bear market for crypto, right? Okay. So check this out. I know I've shared this before. Bam. Okay. So notice the similarities, right, between how crypto topped in 2021 and how it led into this bear market, which stablecoin here basically, stablecoin goes parabolic during a bear market because everyone is moving into stables. This here is that. This is that fractal from over here, just placed on this side over here and shrunk just ever so slightly. But this is look, guys, this is this exact price action from 2021 here. This is it. It's doing the exact same thing. So even though history doesn't exactly repeat perfectly, it definitely rhymes a little bit. So what I'm asking basically is, are we getting ready? Is this choppiness that we're doing here, is this just setting up for what Calvin and Lady Trader and everyone that talks on the little spaces or any of the spaces and streams is calling that bull trap? Are we getting ready to set up that bull trap, right? And so far, this is still tracking like very accurately. You still had your two major tops. You've now broken a major structure to the downside, right? This happens every time. If this was crypto, two big tops, breaking of structure to the downside, right? Like this is all tracking. Are we getting ready to just form some kind of higher low here? And then this is going to then break and we're going to go into full bear. Who knows, right? But I'm watching it. I'm paying attention to that because it is tracking very closely enough that I can't dismiss it. So I share that just to give you like a high time frame perspective on what's happening here. Now, if we zoom back in, here's what I want to talk about that's a little bit more localized and a little bit more relevant. We have stablecoin dominance moving in this ascending fib channel, right? You've got your lows here at the bottom of the channel. You've got your highs up here at the top of the channel. And then you've got this very clean median here, which you can see has been respected many times. Like it's got everything that you would see in like the median of a channel, like structure flips from chopping at the top to losing it and then holding below it. You've got plenty of wick touches right up into the median of that channel. This channel is valid. So what I'm potentially watching here is if it is trying to flip this zone below to support, are we like in the final stages of that, where this is maybe somewhere in here going to put in the low? So if we zoom in like a 4-hour chart, this has been the structure that I've been watching, right? Like on a 4-hour, you had these lows here, right? From November and December. Okay. So this is like your lows of November, December of Q4, basically of last year. And then what we did early this year is price came down here on this chart in stablecoin dominance, and it took out these lows from November, December, and has now reclaimed that range. It's now back inside that range. Is what we're seeing this week just going to be something like that? A higher low that after breaking below is now just confirming that this structure is still going to hold. Like, is that what we're getting ready to see? And then stablecoin dominance is getting ready to head back up here, at least maybe up towards the highs, right? And if that happens, that means that we're in the process of topping for crypto for the week, right? For the week, maybe for the month. And then we're going to get some red potentially for a week or a couple weeks. If that doesn't happen, what you want to see for a bull case is you want to see these lows get taken out. If you want to see crypto go significantly higher, right? 100K BTC and higher, 3,800 ETH and higher, $160 Solana and higher. Like, if you want to see that, we need to see the stablecoin dominance come down and take out this low and then reject from this zone, right? This prior floor. If we get that, then we'll see a move in stablecoins back down here at least, and we'll get a rally. We'll get some altcoins that'll pump. We'll get a lot of fun stuff that'll happen. But that's what we need to be watching in the short term is potentially losing this and then giving a bearish retest here and going lower, because otherwise the alternative is that was the low and we're now going to put in a higher low, maybe put in some bullish structure and then come up here for liquidity up here, which this all of this happening means red for crypto for at least a week, maybe a couple weeks. So yeah, I'm watching this chart closely as we're kind of chopping sideways on BTC, and some of these other ones are maybe approaching like previous week or previous month highs. I think a lot of clues are going to come back to the stablecoin dominance chart here. And even the total chart's also doing similar thing. Like we talked about total chart as well. So we'll see. This will have to break in some direction. We just got to wait for it to break, and then we'll know where we need to shift our bias,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Bits, what are your thoughts on that flying ketamine horse that we've been kind of watching? It came down quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, look, it came down. It is so funny, right? I was calling here. I'll share my screen so we can look at it.
Yeah.
So let me stop sharing this, and then let me share screen. Okay. Yeah, so this was one that, like, my last update before this big move, I basically said if this thing doesn't bounce here at like 7-8 mil, then it's going to go for the liquidity below 4 mil. And we got to move down below 4 mil. So I had buys here. I actually bought on the way down. I was buying here at 7 because that was the original target I had, right? When we were up here at 16 mil and higher, I said I want to buy at like 7 mil. So I bought some at 7. I bought again at 6, at 5, and then I bought a big buy at 4 mil, right under 4 mil. And then what I did is after I bought, I basically layered sells up here. And I didn't catch the absolute top, but I sold most of it out right here on that move back up. So right now I'm flat on FKH. I'm completely flat. I don't know. Like, this to me still looks like it could still come down. It might sweep 2 mil. And then we'll see if it can do something like that. But the play was definitely buying that sweep of 4 mil after 7 mil failed to hold, and then taking profit on that pump that came after that. So I played that nicely. And I was actually debating. I was like, man, should I hold some of it? But I didn't like the way that pump looked, right? Like I was able to exit. It looks like a lot of other people were able to exit as well. And I was like, I don't know that I'm crazy about holding that. Like, this to me doesn't look healthy. So at this point, I think that there's a pretty good chance that, the next level of liquidity that I'd be interested is down here. And I think there's a good chance it's probably going to come take that liquidity. And if it does, you could still get a bounce back up to here. Like, this could do this, but you got to be prepared. If you're going to play this, you got to be prepared that if you're buying down here, if it comes down here, you want to sell. You want to immediately layer sells up to at least this like 7 mil zone again. Um, and maybe leave a moon bag, but you definitely want to right away turn that buy into profit as soon as you can. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like if this thing just does that, then it's over, right? Like at that point, it's done. We played it. We milked as much as we could. We bought here, we sold here, right?
Hmm.
We bought a little bit here, bought a lot here, and got out. Like it's just we took what we could. We missed this big move. I was initially hopeful that a bounce here could turn into that, and then it would be over. And we just never
Hmm.
got that. We just never got that. I would have loved to have sold up here, and we just never got
Yeah.
it. So, yeah,
No, that makes sense.
it was a bummer, but it happens with these memes, which is why
Yeah.
like
Memes are
I
risky.
memes are risky. They are super risky. I like to play like the confirmed moves, like a pullback into that key level that you and I like to watch, and then we know we get like a 2 to 3x on those consistently, with a great win
Yep.
rate. So we play
Yep.
those bounces. We leave a moon bag in case it keeps going, and then we know how to look for the next area of pullback. Like we know how to calculate that very accurately, and then wait for that move, and then how to play that. So we'll just kind of keep
Hmm.
doing that. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And the first one is the best one, bits, like from what I've seen. It's the
always,
most accurate,
always,
always,
yes,
always, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
then it's also like, especially with memes and small caps, when you take your profit, it's always like, you got to move on. Like you can't
Yeah,
be,
don't get
because
attached.
don't get
Yeah,
attached to it. Yeah, this is what,
yeah.
like, I was looking at, a couple of other memes, and I was talking to my husband on one of the small caps that I'm
Mm,
positioned in really well, and I know that it's going to do incredibly well. So I was telling him, when we get out, like, that's going to be it. There's not going
yeah,
to be, we're going back and rebuying it, because that does not doesn't work out. And
correct.
so we have to just exit it very accurately. So I want to share my screen real quick.
Go for it.
One project that I'm going to talk about is Fetch, which is Artificial Superintelligence Alliance. This was actually a multi-billion-dollar merger during the bull market that took place, where Singularity Net, Fetch, and Ocean Protocol came together, formed an alliance. Ocean Protocol is now out of the picture, so it's just Fetch and Singularity Net, which I think both are great teams, really awesome teams. Singularity Net, Ben Goertzel, I mean, that guy is a legend. He's somebody that I have been following for many, many, many years, and he's somebody that I love to go to every time I want to find out what's happening in the AI sector and blockchain, right? Those two, like hybrid of those two. And so this one I actually did catch a spot buy on Fetch around 20 cents. And I also got actually some for a giveaway that's going to be coming up very, very soon, because we will be doing some stuff for ASI. ASI is going to have, they have actually a product that's now being used by your everyday users. So go check it out. ASI One. This is like a decentralized AI app, sort of like ChatGPT, right? But it's decentralized, so they're not storing your data, your personal information, and selling it to somebody else. So that's like the big win there. But then also they have a lot more features. So I've been doing a lot of stuff with that ASI One app. Really, absolutely loving it. I'm probably going to be switching over to that fully from some of my other centralized apps, because I'm just tired of giving my data away for free. And so centralized apps, AI apps are definitely there. They can be risky. And so I'm going to be looking at the decentralized aspect. And basically this looks like, we could get some upside here, right? Potentially maybe up to even this area, maybe to 50 cents, especially if Bitcoin continues to move up. And so I'll be watching this one, but I'm positioned well into this one. I got in around 20 cents on this one, and I'm super happy that I did, because it did come up quite a bit here. So I'm in profit, still watching it carefully. There's still going to be, like I said, there's going to be some giveaway there and some live streams coming up. And then also tomorrow, by the way, I am sitting down with Angel AI team. So I'll be sitting down with Bill Inman and Pawan, and basically we'll be talking about what's happening in the in the AI world, and then also what's happening in the angel world going into 2025. I think we or 2026, I'm sorry, still functioning in 2025, but going into 2026, we're going to figure out what's happening, what are the plans. And there's going to be some nice alpha that's going to be shared on that stream as well, so stay tuned. This is going to happen tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific, so I'm super excited for that stream. Anything else, Chris, that you want to bring up? I know we are going to wrap up here in a couple of minutes. So anything that you want to talk about
No,
before
look,
we
I
end?
mean, right now my focus is on watching XMR. I think it could be topping at some point, so I'm kind of just waiting for that to confirm. I think Zcash is going to keep going a little bit higher, so I'm taking opportunities to add to that trade where it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And Sol is the only other one I'm watching. Sol to maybe take that prior month high and then maybe set up for some type of short opportunity there. And well, I guess the last one I would say is Sui. If Sui sweeps to the downside, I may play Sui long, but that's pretty much it. There's really nothing else that's like jumping out at me. It's like it's those two, XMR and Zach, and then Sol and Sui are the only other ones I'm kind of watching. Like there's always something else, but those are like out of the bigger names. I guess those are the main ones that I'm really paying attention to right now, from like a structural basis. So yeah,
It makes
we'll see what
sense.
happens there. I need to go look more at FET though, because I do think that chart. Last I looked at it, there were some opportunities setting up there. So
Mm-hmm.
I do want to
Yeah,
go look at
absolutely.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it was a clear kind of like like a liquidity sweep move,
yeah,
and so this was a good one, definitely to kind of get look into. It's weekly chart for sure, so there's that.
right.
But yeah, and their app, like they are completely revamping the marketing strategy and everything else. So it's really fun to kind of see some of the stuff that they're working with and onboarding, like everyday users to
Hmm.
kind of use their app, not just crypto moon boys and Web3 folks, but actually going into your everyday users. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well,
Yeah, and
this
it's a
was
big
all
name.
for today.
It's like a
Yeah.
well-known name too. It's not some newcomer. I mean, FET's been
No,
around for what? I mean, a couple,
very long time.
yeah, a couple cycles, I think maybe now, something like that. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
they've been here for a while. Singularity Net as well. Like Ben Gertzel, I mean, Sophia the robot and everything else that's like all of his brainchild. Um, he's done some incredible work. And he's the reason why, I'm like really, really bullish on Singularity Net ecosystem. The entire ecosystem, Twin Protocol is part of that. They are
right.
doing really well. At least on the company side, the way that they're onboarding people, and it's only a matter of time, and the chart is going to start reflecting that. Um, and so sometimes like these plays, especially if it's a legit business, they could take years to play out. But man, if you're positioned well
Yeah.
for a very long term and you have patience, they could be pretty awesome opportunities. I'm definitely positioning myself into Twin Protocol quite a bit. I think it's gonna bottom out pretty soon. If it does not, I mean, it's gonna make me even more excited because hey, that's an opportunity. At least that's how I see it. So
Right.
yeah, but
What's the
yeah,
ticker
thanks.
for Twin? Just Twin?
Twin, yeah, Twin USDT. Let me actually share. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna bring it up real quick while we are at it. It's a Twin, and it did have a very, very bullish, like at least Let me see here. So it's this one right here.
Got it. On ETH. Okay.
So remember, we were actually calling this level here.
Yeah.
The price came back down here and created this. So maybe it retests, or
It
maybe it just, it's kind of
it
filled
could
this gap
sweep one
for
more
everybody else.
time. I think it could sweep
Yeah.
one more time and fill maybe the rest of that gap while I mean, I don't know that it needs to make a new low, but it could definitely sweep that first pullback to like the
130.
yeah. So we'll see. It may not
Mhm.
even break 130. I mean, it might just sweep like 130 down to like 132, 134, somewhere like that. Still make a
Mhm.
high, but yeah, this structure is interesting. I'll have to go look at it. Doesn't look unhealthy though. Looks good.
No, no. And they have a very bullish roadmap that they did publish.
Yep.
Weekly looks a little bit kind of iffy here, but I think
Yeah.
again, this is like a small cap. What are you gonna
Right.
expect? But FDV is only 662. Remember, this is a
Yeah.
project that did raise their last round was 100 mil. So like the investors who put in the money, of course they are at a loss right now, but they
Yeah.
did believe that this project is of that potential. Like you're only able to
Right.
raise that kind of money if you really have the potential. Of course, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to get out, early rounds. There is still some vesting pending. So there is all of that, but I think this has a pretty awesome potential. So definitely bullish on Twin Protocol long term. And
Got it.
Angel, like Angel and Twin are also, they have a really strong partnership as well. So Angel is another one that
Both are
you know
AI plays,
both
right?
are AI.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And legit companies, not like, an AI like a crypto project. It's
Right.
really an AI company that happens to have a token, a utility token. And so, and you're going to have to treat it as a utility token. When the utility is fully live and app is using it, like churning it every single day, I mean, you're going to see it reflecting on the chart. So, yeah.
Got it.
All right. Well, that's all for today. We will be back again on Wednesday, and I will be back
Yep.
tomorrow with Angel Team, and we'll sit down and talk about what's happening in 2026. And then we'll be back, myself and Bits, on Wednesday. We'll be back with our live stream, and then, of course,
Yep.
follow Bits because he does also do evening streams every single day. So going into Asian session, you can catch some good trades there. So definitely make sure that you're giving him a follow, and please repost, comment on the post on the stream and like it as well so we can get as many people up here as we can. It is recorded, so hopefully you can share it with your friends and everybody, and they can watch it as well on the recorded.
Yeah,
All right.
and maybe
Thank you.
actually on I'm gonna see. I don't know if it'll happen this week, but I think on an upcoming stream, maybe you can help me test a new, how can I put this? A new app or tool that's coming out of maybe the Chart Guy ecosystem a little bit. Maybe we can play around with it on stream. So I'll
Yeah,
I'll
absolutely.
get you up
Would
to
love
speed and maybe we can check it out. Yeah, it's a chart thing, right? So it's
Yeah, no.
it'll be fun.
Everything, anything about Chart Guys, I'm here to help because that community is
Awesome.
so near and dear to my heart. Absolutely love those guys. And so yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely will be happy to help.
Awesome. Cool. Well, hopefully we can do that. Maybe if not this week, definitely I think by next week we should be ready.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, awesome. Well, thanks, Lady Trader Raw, for another great stream. Thanks everyone who's reposting and supporting. Appreciate all you guys. And yeah, I'm planning on being on in a few hours. I'm gonna go get a little bit of fresh air, sunlight, take these boys out to the park for a little while. But we'll be back. We're always around. It's hard to step away fully ever.
Absolutely. And make sure that you DM us if you want to be part of our Telegram community. That's where all the alpha is. They're absolutely crushing it with, some really awesome moves this week. So definitely send us a DM and I'll get you added. Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, guys. See ya.
Thanks, Bates. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.